This is an impromptu podcast. I'm Hunter,
And I'm Logan.
and this is the tech section.
Edition with just us two, because our friends don't care about tech.
No, but we do. So let's talk tech. We have some questions written down for ourselves. I think we're going to go through the first one right now.
There's some recent topical things in the news. The pesky European Union, they always get in the way of tech innovation.
They tend to stifle all innovation and creativity.
So I wanted to talk about, basically, there's something in the works that would force Apple to conform to a law that basically says any cell phone type device that charges with a cable that plugs in has to be USB-C. Which is a big hit for Apple because they've been hanging on to Lightning for quite a while.
And they spent a lot of money to make Lightning, which has to be thought about. But, dear viewers, we do not claim to be lawyers or geopolitical experts. This is just our take on the tech side of it.
Yeah. So as an Android user and you as an iPhone user, I just kind of wanted a different opinion on this.
So I'll give you Team iPhone's pitch first.
Okay, cool. All right, give me Team iPhone.
We'll have you do the rebuttal. Team iPhone says.
I'm very good at rebuttals.
And me as well. That's bad.
It's bad.
Going
Just
to you.
period. Parentheses. Put it in bold. Print
Full
it.
stop. It's bad. Talk about stifling creativity. Imagine if we would have stopped at FireWire. Imagine if you said FireWire. It's so much better than what we had before. This is the end all be all. No, I think that's not true. I think that's bad. I think consumers have a choice, and they have overwhelmingly chose to use Apple products, right? So they like the Apple products, and the Lightning was a really innovative connector compared to the 32-pin.
Sure.
Or its competitor at the time. Remember, Lightning was not competing against USB-C. It was competing against micro USB,
yeah.
which is terrible, 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 terrible. Its life cycle is terrible. It wears out so quickly. It's hard to plug in. USB-C is better in every way. And
Right.
USB-C, I'd say, is better than Lightning as well. But I don't think we're done. And I don't think a law mandating that you must use USB-C. I think that's anti-free markets. I don't think it'll help reduce electronic waste, which is the point. And I think Apple, if they're smart, is just going to take away the port entirely and go fully wireless, because Qi charging and MagSafe charging are both widely available, safe now, and really usable. I actually don't use the port on my phone ever. I only wirelessly charge. I'm 100% wireless.
So if Apple shifted to fully wireless charging, would you agree that they would have to include a wireless charger in the box now?
Yes.
Okay, because I think MagSafe is a decent technology, and I think it charges all right, but I don't think it's reached the ubiquitous point that they can continue everybody already has a Lightning charger. Why do we need to give you the one in the box?
True.
If you already have one, let's reduce waste. I feel like they would have to start forcing people to use MagSafe.
Yes. They would have to put a MagSafe puck in every box.
Right.
Now, maybe not a brick, maybe not a 20-watt wall brick,
Right.
but they would have to give you a MagSafe.
So, okay, I guess it's time for rebuttal then.
Mm-hmm.
I'll cover the first half of what you said, which was locking us into USB-C, right? I don't think, and I could be wrong about this, and I guess I need to go read the rules and regulations. But from what I have seen, the law itself does not lock us into USB-C. It locks us into the current ubiquitous standard, which can change. So Apple has said, we don't want to get locked into a bad format. We innovated with the Lightning cable. It was better than micro USB. It was better than the 32-pin. And that's how innovation should work, is that we make it and then we adopt it and then we go use it. But the reason that it's been so long since, Lightning was much better, but now it is not. Mm-hmm. And the reason that we still have different products that USB-C isn't already the ubiquitous standard is because Apple is the only one holding out now. And now Lightning is the thing that's dragging people behind, because it is just not. I mean, USB-C has better transfer rates. It has better power. It can handle more data, more power. It's still reversible like Lightning is, so there's really no downside over Lightning. The second half is that I think MagSafe would create equal, if not more, waste. I don't think that you can use we're about reducing e-waste, because that's, I mean, Apple has used that basically in every scenario where they want to say, we're going to fuck over the consumer. And instead they say, well, it would reduce e-waste, because they can just start taking products away from you and then tell you it's e-waste, and then you'll be happy about it. So maybe that's me being cynical, but
Maybe.
I think if you walked into an airport or a bus terminal, nobody goes to bus terminals anymore. That's the only thing I can think
Some
of.
people do.
Is
Some people take the bus.
someplace public where you have
Especially
to
in
charge your
Europe.
phone. It's true, Europeans. Yeah, and this is what the topic is about. If you have to charge your phone outside and you don't carry around a charger with a MagSafe connected to the end of it, which is just could be a port at that point, you know, you're still going to have to carry your charger around. And then if Apple wants people to have a ubiquitous, good charging experience, then public places are going to start having to, or at least be pressured to, install MagSafe stuff places, you know, and then you're tied to one spot. You know, if you want to sit in there in the airport and charge your phone, you got to pull out your little dongle, or you got to, you know, slap your phone on the MagSafe brick that's mounted in the wall and leave it there. So, which I guess is the same as carrying around a charging cord, but it's not better. You know what I mean? It's just different.
Sure. And maybe this is the American in me, and I know we're talking about Europe, but I believe you're responsible for your own charging, right?
Sure.
Bus stations don't need to provide you USB-C cords. And
Yeah.
frankly, I would not plug my phone into the bus station cord.
Fair, very
and
fair.
maybe that's just me being
Yeah.
pretentious. But
Well-
you never know what someone's going to do. And let me give you a quick example before your rebuttal. People with electric cars have been doing crazy stuff, like putting super glue in the charging cables and putting weird stuff up in those cables so that people put that in their car and it can
Yeah.
ruin their car. What's to say they don't do that and just shove dirt in there, put some weird stuff in there? No, I think you should have to bring your own charging equipment
Sure.
wherever you go.
Yeah. And that's fair. But at that point, if you're bringing your own charging equipment wherever you go, you've just replaced the charging equipment you used to have, which is Lightning, with a dongle that is MagSafe, right? So there's no benefit over just having a USB-C cable,
Yeah, but you're replacing your lightning cable with a USB-C cable.
right? But you're replacing your Lightning cable with a MagSafe dongle.
So you want to use your replacement. I want to use my replacement. Either way, we're replacing the lightning
Yes,
port.
but my replacement is better because everybody else uses that too.
Yeah, but why should they? It's un-American. No, I like where they're going with it in Europe, but I just
Yeah.
don't think the government knows better than the consumer.
And they don't. And the reason that USB-C has been standardized is because it is the standard. And the law, and again, I could be wrong about this, but I'm operating on this belief, and that's why I believe it to be so. The law says that that can change. That if a new standard becomes available, then the law will shift and consumers will shift.
And the law will shift not quickly enough. Is
No,
my
it won't.
point.
And that's part of Apple's argument too, is that if they want to make innovation and privatize something, then that's how the quickest innovation happens.
if they come up with Lightning 2,
Right.
which is this new 4-pronged, like weird connector
Right.
that has 10 gigabit transfer
Right.
and ultimate power delivery, well, then they can't use it on the European phones, and only the consumers miss out then.
They can. They would just have to get it appealed through the government, which is a slow and painstaking and probably will change some things process. So they don't want to be locked into bureaucracy. But for right now, for the consumer, it's a good thing because USB-C is good.
Oh,
Right?
absolutely.
So we're okay with locking ourselves in.
I won't buy a new device that doesn't have USB-C on it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Excluding my Apple products.
Sure.
I'm saying any other product, whether it's a virtual reality headset or any other piece of technology,
But if
it needs USB-C.
if your iPhone was USB-C and your AirPods were USB-C, then you could bring aside from maybe your Apple Watch charger, which is another story.
Yes, but it can't be waterproof. There's a whole...
You could pack one high power USB-C charger in a backpack and take every single tech item you have and charge it with one cable. You probably wouldn't because you would want to charge two things at the same time.
Right.
But that's a possibility you could have. You don't have to bring
one
multiple
cable, one
things.
brick, and you're good to go.
Exactly.
Which would be nice. But the way that I travel now is I have my little charging pouch with 2 portable chargers, one MagSafe for my phone, one just battery bank, and then I have every cable I need, which is I take one USB-C with me, one micro USB, and one Lightning.
Yeah.
And my Apple Watch charger for bringing my Apple Watch. But I have 3 cables that I bring, and I have one brick that has 3 ports
Right.
on it.
So you're already pretty condensed.
I am condensed, but what I would really like is if my iPad wasn't Lightning. So maybe I'm unraveling my own
A
argument
little.
in front of
Well,
you. But,
and Apple unravels himself a little bit too because they have shifted to USB-C for the iPads.
but I have an 8th generation standard iPad,
Right.
which is Lightning.
Yeah.
Not anymore. The new one is USB-C, but they were Lightning for a long time. And it's kind of annoying because it's slow to charge
Yeah.
because it's such a big device. And it's just a hassle because I don't use a Lightning port for this, for
Right.
my phone.
Yeah.
So maybe you're right. Maybe you're onto something.
Yeah.
But we'll let the viewers decide.
Yeah. I mean, it's a topic that Apple is going to have to fight with the European Union about. And I mean, they agreed they're going to have to comply. It's a law now. So, and Apple has said, one of their head directors, and I can't remember his name, said basically in an interview with Washington Post, I think, or Huffington Post, one of the posts, basically, they said, hey, this law is a thing. What is Apple going to do about it? And they gave a big, long speech about how it's bad for the consumer or whatever. But they said at the end, we'll have to comply because it's law. If we want to sell iPhones in Europe, then yeah, we'll have to. And now what does comply mean? Does that mean get everybody on the board with wireless 2 years too early? You know, because MagSafe has been the trajectory they want to go. They want people using MagSafe ubiquitously.
I like it.
But it's not ready yet. It's not as good of a technology. It's not better, right? Mm-hmm. It's not better than charging with a cable, aside from the convenience. It's really its only thing.
Slower.
And it's not nearly as ubiquitous. You know, the only people that have it are people that have gone to it on their own.
I'm a MagSafe power user by choice. I had to go out of my way to find devices that will charge. So I have one by my bed. I have one at my desk. I have that portable MagSafe battery bank. I have one for travel. And it costs a lot.
Right.
You know, a MagSafe from Apple's $30.
Right.
Just for the puck. And so that's a lot more than a Lightning cable or USB-C cable.
Definitely. And if they wanted MagSafe to be that transition, then they would have to start including MagSafe chargers in the box with new iPhones. Which they are. And they still have 2 years. They have 2 more iPhones in order to do this because the iPhone 15 is going to come out in 2023. And then I think they have in the end of 2023 or something. They either have 1 generation or 2 generations of iPhones left before they have to do something about this. The 15 is going to come out this year? At the end of this year? At the beginning of next year? I think it's beginning of 2023. And then the 16 comes out 2024?
It's late 2023 because the 14 just came out a few months ago. It's always Q3, isn't it?
So they don't have to do it. They don't have to change anything until the 16 or the 17, basically. Yeah. And we haven't even seen the 15 yet. No. So they have some time to figure this out.
But it sounds like they'll have 1 generation.
Right. They don't have as much time as they wanted to get everybody on MagSafe.
And we're still on MagSafe 1.0.
Yeah, and the Macs don't use it, and the iPads don't use it. You know,
it'd be nice if the iPads used it at least.
It's just an iPhone thing, you know, and can you even charge your Apple Watch on a MagSafe charger? Or is it a separate charger?
No, you cannot. Yeah, you can charge your AirPods Pros though.
So it's just for iPhones.
And the AirPods.
Okay.
Yes, I'll concede. Yes.
So do the new AirPods Pro, are they USB-C? Are they Lightning? Are they USB-C? Are they Lightning? Yeah. So they would have to change those too, which isn't as big of a deal. But
those could go.
They could very easily go USB-C.
Yeah.
Very easily.
USB-C, or they could go wireless only.
Or they could go wireless
to make
only.
them waterproof or whatever.
Oh yeah, they'll spin some bullshit.
That's what they do. But I love them for it.
But in another Apple news, iOS 16 has come out, and
it has.
And I've seen some splash about little features and stuff. But you just recently upgraded, and I want to know what your recent thoughts are.
I did. So I'm at about my first week of iOS 16, and here's my take. Apple gives you what you need, not what you want, and they decide what you need.
Yeah, they do.
And so they change things to keep it interesting, which you come to appreciate as an Apple consumer. Because your life doesn't stay the same for too long, right? Once you learn the system,
sure,
it changes. And you get a new thing, it keeps it fresh. So chunky, blocky letters on your lock screen now for the time is new.
The lock screen is way new.
Notifications at the bottom is new.
You can put widgets up there now.
You can't put widgets up there. I will not.
Too cluttered.
I don't want any of that information. I don't want calendar or weather or... No widget really interests me on the home screen. Yeah, I haven't really explored this, but I am liking most of the new features. It keeps things And that's the only really plus I have is it keeps things interesting. It
Right.
spices things up.
Yeah.
Everything was fine the way it was before, and now they're just changing it. What feels like for change's sake.
Yeah.
It's a healthy upgrade. It gives you some new power user features if you're into that sort of thing, and hoping to take advantage. But there's not much new in iOS 16.
So would you say
It's
that
not monumental.
change for the sake of enacting small changes is, well, I don't know if it's worse, but you wouldn't change things just for the sake of changing them?
I think I would.
You would.
I think I would.
So you
just
still enjoy
because
the newness.
I like feeling like I have a fresh device every once in a while.
That's fair.
Where I'm
Yeah.
like, holy cow, this is nice. This is new. It doesn't feel old anymore. It doesn't feel stale. It's like you get a refresh, a new skin on something. And I think that's just the Apple consumer in me saying,
Yeah. Well, you're kind of locked into, how exactly your phone looks. I mean, you can reorder things and you can put widgets on your home screen,
sure.
but you can't change much else besides how your phone looks. If I wanted a new, fresh device on Android, I could download, a different icon pack or, change my wallpaper. But, I could change the way the icons look. I could change the way the system UI looks. I could change my entire lock screen if I wanted to. I could
Right.
download something third party there.
Yeah,
I could change how my, app drawer slides out, if it's pages or if it's scroll or if it comes from the bottom or if it comes from the side. I could change whatever the hell I want on my basic UI and get a fresh look, and you are stuck with how
We've
Apple
no
wants you to
such
do it.
luck. They will tell us what we want.
So
and what
in
we
some ways
need.
that's easier because you don't have to
Some
craft it each time.
True.
But, yeah.
But other times when you're trying to use those power user type
Right.
features and they're just not available to you. That they figured it out, right?
Yeah.
They believe that they have the secret sauce, and
Yes,
that you
that
are
will
gonna
work
do,
for everyone.
You're going to do what they want.
Right.
So that's all really about iOS 16. Is it's a healthy upgrade.
A healthy upgrade.
Nothing.
iOS 16,
phenomenal.
a healthy upgrade.
Nothing phenomenal. The apps still look the same. They haven't released a big new feature besides
Right.
just some interface changes and some.
They've been slowly getting parity right between macOS and iPhone. Like they're changing some of the icons on Mac and making them look and act the
That's a good
same.
point.
The weather app on Mac, I think, just got an update with macOS Ventura. So they're kind of increasing the continuity between them.
Still waiting for iPad OS to really
Yeah.
find its place because no weather, no calculator on the iPad.
Well, Stage Manager, which is I think a new iPad OS feature
It is.
with the whole Windows thing, and you can slide them off to the side and then bring up basic sets of windows.
Kind of for desktops. As
They
it
added
were.
that to macOS in Ventura, which I think is redundant as hell. Who wants to operate the iPad way? The Stage Manager, iPad Windows thing was a solution for people are used to Windows. Not like Windows, the operating system, but they're used to having
Yes.
windows of apps on an operating system. That's how Mac works. That's how PC works. That's how, I mean, our iPhones and iPads are full screen stuff just because that's how the real estate is. So if they're moving iPad into a more personal computer Mac kind of experience, then they need something to organize and let you move around those windows. And they came up with Stage Manager.
Right. Which was a good solution.
So why add it to macOS when you already have tools for moving and reordering windows?
It's a
You can add
desktop
add
OS.
whole new desktops. You can maximize things. You can pull stuff up. You can, Command H to hide things. There's a much more powerful and simpler ways to do it than dragging things to the side of the screen and dragging them back out and doing gestures and
Because
stuff.
it's a desktop OS and not a tablet OS, right? And I have been using my iPad a lot lately with that split screen kind of mode,
Yeah.
which has been really nice because I could take one and drag it and make it like a third and
Right.
make one 2/3 rather than
Just
half
a little
and
slim on the
half.
side, which is something you do on a workstation.
Exactly.
On your Windows PC, on your Mac, have something, use your screen
So that's
real
been
estate.
helpful, but I will be honest, I have not used the Windows Stage Manager very much. Windows, not the operating system, but Windows in iPad OS.
Sure.
Just because rarely am I working on multiple things at once where I want these 2-3 windows
Right.
together, these 2-3, and I want to change between the two. I'm not an iPad power user. And
Yeah.
I don't have an iPad Pro, so I don't have the big, I have a 10-inch
Yeah,
iPad,
mine's
8th
the
gen.
old first gen iPad Pro with
Yes.
it's like what 9.7 I think inches.
Mhm.
So I don't have a lot of screen real estate to work with
No,
either.
but if you have the large one, which people in my family
That's
do,
true,
it really kind of becomes a laptop
right?
replacement, a
Yeah,
laptop substitute. I
because
wouldn't say
you're
replacement.
what that's
12.9, I
12.9 I think.
believe,
Yeah, you're nearing a 13
which is
inch
I have a
MacBook,
13-inch MacBook Pro,
right?
and so which we'll get to that in a minute.
Right.
And I really enjoy using the 13-inch MacBook for moving around, but when it's time to do real work, I
Yeah,
need to dock that thing to a bigger
to a
screen
big
because it's
screen.
not enough. And so on the road, on the airplane, in the airport, traveling, wherever, yeah, using the big iPad is great for people in my family, but when it's time to do work, it's
Right.
time to get on a computer.
Yeah. Well, and the type of work that people do matters on the type of thing that they use to do it, though, right?
True.
Because people that, just browse and check their email and respond to people and, view some documents or whatever, yeah, an iPad workflow might work great. But you are someone that needs to get work done that's like spreadsheets and typing and manipulating data and doing, viewing blueprint plans and stuff
Yeah.
for your construction major or whatever. And maybe even doing some CAD work, so you need the power behind that. You need the, multiple screens and viewing a bunch of data all at once. You need to be able to operate around with keystrokes on the keypad and stuff,
Yep.
So there's some inherent limitations of, having basically, I think of iPad OS as kind of the Chromebook equivalent. You know what I mean?
That's a good point.
Where it's just kind of a limited version
That's
of
a
something we
pricey
already
Chromebook,
have.
is what that is.
Yeah. If you want to be in the Apple ecosystem, but you don't want a full MacBook, just get it.
So you don't need it. So you're just doing basic word processing, surfing
Right.
the internet,
Yeah.
whatever, watching. It's
Consuming content.
people who consume contents on iPads are a different breed because that's the only screen they watch on.
Yeah.
They don't sit down and watch TV. They're sitting wherever they are. They have their big iPad, and that's what
Well,
they watch.
and the iPad screen is a great way to watch content. I mean, it's big, it's crisp,
It
it's
looks
got the
great.
stereo front-facing speakers. But I mean, if that's all you do you need a laptop iPad OS stage manager type experience?
Something I don't want to derail us. So let's not make this too long. Something I would ask you. A lot of people I know, girls specifically our age in college, their laptop is their primary content consumption device. They sit on their beds
Yeah.
and they watch content on their, whether it be YouTube, Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime,
Sure.
Disney Plus, on their laptops. And I'm like, you have a TV, but this is just how they enjoy their content. It's close to them.
Yeah.
They can play and pause really easily. I find that so curious because I enjoy sitting in front of a nice big TV, sitting in a chair,
Sure.
and watching. So, your thoughts on the laptop in the bed content consumption?
I'm kind of both. Actually, I might be leaning a little more towards laptop style consumption, I guess, if I had to choose one. I think it's kind of the spontaneity of it almost. Sitting down in front of the TV feels like, all right, now it's time to sit down and watch stuff on the TV time. Like I need to block out an hour of my day to sit down and watch stuff on the TV, right? But if digging out your laptop and you're just sitting on your bed doing whatever and you watch one show on Netflix, it feels less like a commitment than sitting down, pulling something up on the TV. And it feels more intimate. Yeah, you said intimate, and I think I agree with that, So yes, the TV might be a better content consuming experience, but there's more this is stupid, but there's more strings attached.
This is a heresy. I thought you were going to back me up here.
No.
And so I don't. Well, also,
I will,
I
but-
should admit, I'm not a person that sits in my bed very often.
That's true. And I'm not either. I will do it at my desk, I guess. I will watch TV shows at my desk because I like having headphones on.
Okay.
I'm kind of a third Venn diagram here, right? We've got bed laptop
I
watchers,
hate Venn diagrams.
theater studio
Well,
watchers,
home setup watchers. Yeah.
and then third group that's just me, this tiny little bubble in the bottom of the Venn diagram, where I watch 90% of stuff at my desk, right? Because I like having headphones. I can't hear shit. I have ADHD. I have to have captions on if it's at a TV. Even if the TV is blasting,
It feels
I still can't
like
comprehend.
less of a commitment. And
Do you understand that though? That
I've heard something very similar to that. You said it
Okay.
more eloquently than other people have explained it to me.
right.
But it's like I could sit for 20 minutes in my bed and watch an episode of What at Friends
Sure.
or The Office.
Yeah.
And it's no big deal. But if I went and sat down and
Yeah.
watched it up,
Yeah.
I use the inflection because that's kind of how they explain it. It's like it's like a chore, not a chore, but like a whole to do.
It's an event.
Do
Yeah.
it. And then they got to turn on the TV and then turn off the TV. That's so
And
hard.
if you're in the living room on the couch watching the TV, and this is also from the side effect of maybe having like roommates or family. You know, if you don't want to sit down and watch TV with your roommates or your family, sure, do it on your bed with your laptop, because no one is going to join you on your bed with your laptop to watch your TV show. So maybe that's part of it too, is they want some alone TV time. But also, if you walk into the living room and sit down and turn on Friends, you have just dedicated, you know, whatever time to only watching Friends. And yes, that would be the same experience on your bed. You know, you are going to sit down and watch an episode of Friends. So the end result is the same, but how you feel about it is different. You know what I mean? I feel like we're not getting very far. But
No. And I think you realize how silly it sounds.
It does sound very stupid, but it is a very real difference.
But I know it makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to wrap my head around it because
you're looking at me like it's sacrilege to not.
I need to tell somebody. I need to tell a trusted adult.
My friend said something very concerning the other day.
My friends are unwell because you like to watch content in your bed. And most people haven't curated TV or film watching spaces like I have.
You have the very nice benefit of having usually a room that is empty, and you can go down by yourself, sit down in a nice dark room with a really nice big TV and consume content.
It's 85-inch TV and surround sound speakers.
Yeah, stop bragging.
No, I'm just saying, I'm not sitting at a 32-inch TV in my kitchen.
Right.
Like, I'm sitting down in a purpose-built.
It's true. So the level of enjoyment you can get out of the theater experience is much higher. The return is more.
But now that you say that, like, if I was living in an apartment with roommates like I used to, if I'm watching something in the living room like I used to, so I was watching The Office with my old roommate, she was then now invited to come watch with me.
Right.
Because I'm in the common space.
Yeah.
And so say I wanted to watch something that's kind of quirky and weird or something like a guilty pleasure show.
Sure.
I'm not sure I'd watch that in the living room.
Right.
So I understand that point of view where it's like,
it's more
I
personal.
want to watch something for me.
Yeah.
I don't have to talk to anybody else. I don't have to pause for somebody. I don't have to explain something. I just want to watch this show.
And also Netflix has kind of become, and I say Netflix, its streaming service has kind of become sit down on your bed with your laptop, turn the show on, and it becomes background noise, you know?
True.
Which a TV can do, but if you're sitting on your bed on your phone anyway, and you have your laptop going, then it's a different kind of vibe too. You know? If you're sitting on the couch on your phone and the TV going, I say it out loud and it feels very similar, but yet it's not. So
I think a lot of the viewers are gonna understand and sympathize with you and think I'm the crazy person, which is concerning to me as well. But
they would be right.
I'm interested to hear their comments. I think that's all I had to say about that. We can move on to the next.
It's definitely two different things.
Topic.
Our next topic, I think I want to pivot a little bit. I saw an article with something that was topical to you and also a little ridiculous. So if I remember to edit this in whatever video we post to YouTube, I'll try and put the picture up of what I'm about to show you.
I'm both things. I am me and a little ridiculous. So
You are you and
a
little ridiculous. You do share those common qualities. So I'm going to show you a picture, and I want you to tell me what you think it is, just based off the picture.
Okay.
No, it is definitely not. This is a product. Okay, so here I'm showing you the picture. We'll give you some time to digest. So I hope I'm showing the picture on the screen, but it is what looks like the exhaust tip of a car.
I would call that the back end exhaust.
And a portion of the exhaust mounted on the wall somewhere.
Yes. Now,
in a very clinical warehouse type space.
With a dual exhaust.
Yes.
It is very reminiscent of the Porsche exhausts I've worked on.
Okay.
But it's bigger.
Right.
Side to side. So I'm not sure what car it's from. It's a piece of wall art on a concrete wall.
It is a piece of wall art. Yeah. So what if I told you that this piece of wall art had a purpose?
Doesn't all art have a purpose?
Let me switch over to the article here that has information on this. So I saw this article and I thought it very topical. I might have just messed up my microphone. I'm sorry about I saw this article and I thought it very topical because you have worked on Porsches before as a race car mechanic,
I have.
which is something that is fun and interesting about you, but that you also hate it. So this is a Porsche design, which is their design company. So very good on you for figuring out that it was a Porsche. That's honestly kind of impressive.
It's from a street car, they're not a race car, and I knew that.
Just from the shape of the exhaust tips. So this is from a 911.
Yes.
Would you like to take a guess on?
Okay. So it's a Porsche design product they're selling.
It's a Porsche design product that they are selling.
I thought it was a one-off, like somebody just took the freaking exhaust manifold or exhaust out of their car.
This is not somebody doing like ripping something out of a car and hung it on the wall, which you could do. Yeah, people do that. They take bonnets or bumpers or whatever.
There's
and turn
a lot
them into
of cool
art
like that.
No,
How much
this is a product.
Okay, Porsche Design sells the most overpriced stuff imaginable.
This is true.
Like Porsche Design costs more than Lamborghini merch and Lamborghini things.
Yeah.
They're very proud of Porsche Design over at the Volkswagen Group. How much would I buy that for? Is that the question, or what is it?
Both of those things. So I could answer one of them.
I'll start with how much I'd buy it for.
So let me tell you the price, and then you can try and guess what it is.
Shouldn't I guess the price first?
Well, I don't know if the price will help you or hinder you on trying to guess what this is.
Let me hear what the price is.
So if you want to buy one of these, only 500 of these will be made.
Gosh. Okay. Limited edition.
Limited edition.
You're going to pay more than it's worth because it's a limited edition.
Yeah.
Worth in parts,
In parts,
in material, and labor and material. You're paying more than labor and material.
This is $12,000.
Less than I thought it was going to be.
Really? Okay. Yeah. I mean, Porsche Design is kind of one of those ridiculous things, right? So you don't know what to expect.
Dear viewer, $12,000 is so much money, but if you've worked on race cars for long enough,
it is not a lot of money.
We blow through that so fast.
Right.
Each corner of the car is $30,000, and we replace so much every race.
Right.
Okay.
I feel like your opinion might change a little bit when I tell you what it is.
It's a piece of decorative wall art for $12,000.
It's $12,000. Yeah. It has a purpose.
Yeah, to be decorative wall art.
Not exactly. No, it has something more.
Oh my God. What could it possibly be?
This, my friend, is a sound bar. It is a speaker system.
I need to say something because you can't see my reaction.
It is. You looked at me like I had grown another head.
Baffled. It's like a sound bar.
It is a sound bar.
Not like a bar that you drink out of.
No, it is a speaker thing.
Are they pushing sound out of the freaking exhaust pipes? What is happening here?
Under the hood, which might be the first time that expression is actually pertinent to a speaker, you will find a 300-watt sound system that uses a virtual 2.1.2 channel configuration. Porsche Design hasn't indicated what kind of drivers are lurking under that stunning car part, but the speaker is compatible with both Dolby Atmos and DTS HD. It has 4K HDMI inputs. It's Wi-Fi connected with Apple AirPlay. Can be wall mounted, can be put on a thing. It weighs 143 pounds, though, so if you're going to wall mount it, you got to be careful.
You better go into studs and multiple of them.
So the reason it has an exhaust system, Hunter, is because it pumps sound through the exhaust system.
How did I know that's where this
out
is going?
the tips, and that's supposed to make things sound better or sound like they're being run through a 911 exhaust pipe. So if you look back at the picture, though, and I'll put the picture back up on the screen, it isn't entirely the exhaust. If you take a closer look at it now that you know that it's a sound bar, can you see the black mount that it's on is speaker grill?
Yeah, I totally see it now. Like,
right. I mean, now that it's obvious.
The circles, but you know what I wasn't looking at?
Right.
The black background.
No, because there's an exhaust manifold sitting looking at your face.
But now, right above that U-bend in the left side of the exhaust, I can see those little discs behind there that are speakers. Totally. Clear as day.
Yeah.
And the viewers are going to make fun of me for not being able to see that before. But I was trying to think of what car it was from and why I was looking at this thing.
What the hell is he showing me this for?
Porsches are good sounding cars. But if I'm watching a movie at my house through my $12,000 soundbar.
I don't think you're the right audience for this.
And it's coming out of exhaust pipes? I'm going to have to listen to...
out of an exhaust pipe.
To audio from exhaust pipes?
I would like you to read the end of this article that I saw this from, because I think it sums it up nicely. The question remains, does that iconic dual-tipped exhaust help this speaker sound any better than it might if it lacked such a crazy add-on? Or perhaps the more relevant question, given who PD is clearly targeting with this creation, do you even care? Because you are not the market for this thing.
No,
the
I'm not
regular
a
consumer is not going to spend $12,000 on a arguably not as good soundbar because it doesn't even have pass-through for some of the new HDR.
You could get the very top of the line soundbar from a company like Sony for $1,000,
Right.
$1,500.
And
That is excellent sound. You're gonna have to make a really good value proposition. I guess no, they don't. They don't have to make a value proposition because it's not a value item.
true. Yeah, I mean, you're not buying it for value. Now, here is you can buy a smaller like desktop speaker that still uses the same kind of exhaust manifold design that is only $3,500. And here
Let's see a picture of that
I'll
on
show you a
screen.
picture of it now if the website will load. There's the terrible website that Porsche Design is. There's a picture of it. So it's just kind of a tabletop mounted thing, but with a similar dual exhaust style, reminiscent of the.
I'm not sure I want my music and content and other things to be fed through a car exhaust.
You do, because it sounds great. It's a Porsche.
Yeah, but
The engine sounds great going out of it. Therefore, your music must sound great going out of it.
I just think those are different sounds that I'm after. I'm not after a Porsche engine sound.
No, you don't love Porsche?
I'm not the consumer, right? I am a Porsche race car mechanic.
True. You are not the person that buys the crazy things for
I'm
the
not a Porsche owner.
Right.
And Porsche owners love Porsche design and Porsche merch and all that stuff.
Because if you're buying a Porsche, you're buying into the philosophy.
An experience, right?
Yeah.
You're all about the German Bauhaus school of design and that stuff.
Right.
And I know a lot of guys who way overpaid for coffee makers and hats and shirts.
Just because it has the badge on it?
Because it has Porsche design on it or
Yeah.
Porsche in general on it. This one I don't know, though. Because I love Porsches. And I love Lamborghinis and all the cars I've worked on, Audis and Mazdas and everything. This is really ugly.
I waited so long for that punchline. Oh my god. It's not, if you really like the, industrial design of it, I feel like it could go very well.
Let's go back to the first one, the big one.
Yeah, the big one. That's what I'm talking about.
This part is hidden in the car for a reason. It's hot, it's messy, it's loud down there.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I'd want, of all of the parts of the 911, the 911 is one of the most beautiful cars ever made, right? That's why it's stayed almost the same since the 40s. This is the part we chose to show off?
Because it makes noise.
It does.
So we're going to make it into a product that also makes noise.
I guess. But I would protest if I wanted something hanging on my wall from my 911.
Sure.
Now, this is for someone who owns a 911.
This is also really not for someone who owns a 911. This is for some. Well, okay. Let me rephrase that. It's not for the person that owns the 911. It's for the person that owns the 911 to buy and hang in their house, their multi-million-dollar house. So when people come over and they're trying to impress CEOs and other people, they go, "Oh, I have a great Porsche collection. I'm really into Porsche cars." And they're like, "Wow, what is that cool piece of art on the wall?" And they're like, "Actually, it's a soundbar from a 911. I'm just that into Porsches or whatever." It's very industrial and cool and modern and avant-garde and, yada, yada, yada.
Avant-garde.
Because it's impressive. Yeah, it might be ugly and I wouldn't want to look at it every day. And it's a hell of a statement piece. But it's a hell of a statement piece.
You hit the nail on the head there. It's a statement piece.
Right.
And when I walked in, if I would walk into someone's house, and notice the background it's on in the picture, if we can put it back up on the screen.
Yes.
It's on a concrete wall. And that's where it belongs.
Right.
In an industrial, this is like, I've worked for guys and I know guys who have a really rich person's man cave, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
They have a warehouse or an airplane hangar or something where all their toys are stored.
Stark, clean,
And
concrete,
it's where
glass.
Yes, exactly. They'll have a mezzanine level with offices and lounges and a bathroom and a bedroom or whatever. And then the floor level, it's either airplanes if it's a hangar, or if it's a warehouse, it's their cars, jet skis, trucks, boats, whatever. That's where this would go. This would go into the man cave because your wife would never allow
it would
this
not go in your
home.
living room. No.
It needs to go in a place where the car is. But then you say, I love my 911. And I have this specced out, beautiful 911 GT3 Touring. There's the exhaust from it up on the wall. Oh, you guys want to watch the football game? Boom, here I go. Hear that? It's playing sound. We're listening to football through the exhaust of a Porsche.
Right.
That's stupid.
I thought you were going to end that on a better note.
No, it's a little too avant-garde. It's a little too pushing
Sure.
the boundaries.
But if you have multitudes of money, if you have money you don't know what to do with, if 12 grand for some kind of piece of tech that's cool and a statement piece is nothing to you, then sure, spend 12 grand on it, because everything else is boring, Hunter.
But get a good piece of sound equipment. You know,
They don't care about good pieces.
No,
I mean,
they
I
don't. They
bet
don't
it sounds
care.
fine.
I bet it sounds fine.
Right. But they're not trying to get the best and the best codecs and the best, it has all support
Sure.
for all this and it connects and whatever. It's, you want
Right.
something that looks like a 911 exhaust hanging on the wall. So
Yeah. That's. I wonder where they get the exhaust from. Are they pre-production? Do they just make
911s.
exhaust just
they
for...
get them from 911s.
Yeah, thank you. But do they make them and then put them on this thing, or are they like used?
It's a good question.
Because this one looks a little bit used, maybe.
Is it actually an exhaust from a 911, or is it something modeled to look like an exhaust from a 911?
What would be cheaper? I have no idea.
I don't know.
This, to me, looks like it's been used, or at least out in the weather.
Oh yeah.
Just looking at the photo.
True. It
looks
isn't.
like
It isn't
it looks
squeaky
like it's
clean.
been hot.
Yeah.
And then cold again.
Yeah.
And that, to me, may be a really interesting prospect. I don't think this is true, is if you could get your 911's exhaust.
That would be a reason to
Put on
pay
the
12
wall.
grand. Yeah.
You send them your car and your exhaust,
Yeah.
and they'll put it there. Well, then what are you going to
Well,
do with your car?
where does your exhaust go?
Well, your exhaust goes on the wall.
Well, your
where's the rest
car
of
doesn't
your
have an
car
exhaust now.
Put a new exhaust, put like a sport aftermarket
I mean,
exhaust in it,
yeah, maybe, if you're upgrading your exhaust, something you can do is get them to save it and put it on a sound bar.
Although Porsches are cars that rarely need any upgrades. They're
Oh,
almost
really?
perfect already. Rarely do you see a Porsche
Perfection?
with a lot of upgrades.
Okay.
Das Auto or whatever they say. No. They're not really heavily
Sure, I
modified
guess
cars
the stock experience is good enough,
for
It's
most people.
it's kind of like an Apple device.
Now, you could certainly, like, the upgrades you get are all factory upgrades
Sure.
from Porsche. People who mod Porsches is much smaller could be the people who mod BMWs.
Well, and if you're modding a
Audis
Porsche,
even.
it's like the cheapest Porsche you can get your hand on.
Sure.
It's like the small sports cars or whatever. It's not the GT4 Club Sport style racing new cars.
No, and those racing cars, you might put in like a different suspension. We
Sure.
take the stock suspension out and put in an MCS, motion control
But
suspension.
nobody slams a Porsche.
Some people do. It is a crime against all automotives, but you shouldn't. Do not slam your Porsche.
Do not slam your Porsche.
And people modify them to be, safari type Porsches. They just came out with the 911 off-road Porsche. There's a new Safari.
An
official,
off-road 911?
called the Dachsker, something like that. So what you're looking at now is Porsche's
yeah.
new off-road 911.
New
It's-
off-road Porsche 911 Dakar revealed.
Yep, it's a factory-built car, and it's a callback to
Interesting.
the Safaris,
Yeah.
the old Safaris from the 70s, 80s.
It looks like a 911 with knobby off-road tires and a roof rack.
Yep, so there's a lift on it, right? There's
Yeah.
new tires. I believe there's a skid plate under there, roof rack.
Yeah.
And it's a modern 911 with all the modern 911 features, but this one is meant to go off-road.
Interesting. Yeah, if I remember, there's pictures. With it being jacked up on the with a lift, a suspension lift, it looks like it's getting into crossover territory.
Porsche getting into the crossover market.
Interesting. And if you want your 911 Dakar to stand out even more, tick the box marked Rally Design Pack on the options list. This gives you a new paint job inspired by the 911 that won the Paris Dakar Rally in 1984. And there's the picture for that.
That is a good-looking car.
That's a cool livery. 3-liter twin turbocharged flat six is the 911
'Cause
GTS.
the engine's almost perfect. Isn't it?
Interesting that they would take a road, like 911 GT3 that absolutely tears up the tarmac, and then just put different suspension and tires on it and go, yeah, this is a rally car now.
But that's what people want, Like, if I was Porsche, if I was Mr. Porsche, I would have turned your Macan or your Cayenne into a big off-road beast to compete with all the other off-road SUVs.
Well,
of
that's a
today.
different category. That's like rock crawling. It's not
Well,
rally.
not necessarily rock crawl, but like every SUV now is marketed as an
True.
off-road
Yeah.
trail
Are you a
vehicle.
soccer mom that needs to cut across the Saharan desert on your way to soccer
Whether
practice?
it's Lexus or Toyota or Honda these days, everybody's advertising
Yeah.
their off-road prowess. Ford, General Motors.
Right. Because selling an SUV for a road car that can seat a bunch of people is just a minivan.
Yes.
So it needs something to designate itself differently than a minivan.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that's what interested me why Porsche did this. I think it'll be a really big hit with Porsche people. Because Porsche people are Porsche people.
True.
You don't buy one Porsche.
You buy
a
many
collection of
Porsches.
Porsche. Because you have to have a 718, whether it be a Boxster or a Cayman, right?
Right.
And then you get up a little bit more. You'll probably get a 911.
Mm.
But then, well, now you need something to transport groceries, so you'll get a Cayenne. You know, like it just never stops.
Right.
You'll get one of every Porsche that they have. And once you get in the race cars, it's over. Dear viewers, do not get into Porsche racing cars. You will be bankrupt.
Unless you're a mechanic working on them.
Oh, certainly. Then it's a wonderful time.
And then it's a wonderful time. This says, actually, this article, you said something about you would just take the Cayenne and make it into an off-road car. This says that the suspension they put in it lifts it up 50 millimeters higher than a normal Carrera S. And you can raise it up an extra 30 millimeters if you need to crawl over boulders. This gives you about 205 millimeters of total ground clearance, which is only 5 millimeters less than a standard Porsche Cayenne. So
Okay.
if you raise the suspension up all the way, a road legal Cayenne, it's about the same as that.
Okay.
But you could lift the Cayenne higher
Yes.
and make it into more off-road capable.
The new Cayennes are low vehicles because every Porsche drives like a 911, right? That's their philosophy. That's their design philosophy is you get in every Porsche, whether it be 718, 911, Macan, Cayenne, Panamera, or Taycan.
Yeah.
I believe I got the whole range. They all drive like the 911. That's the whole thing. Porsche driving dynamics are Porsche driving dynamics. And the Cayenne, if I had to get any Porsche right now, I'd get a Cayenne GTS. Comfortable, SUV.
Fast, drives well.
Fast.
Yeah.
Drives like a Porsche, but I have 4 real seats for real adults and a nice big trunk. Just put stuff and things in.
Yeah, the trunk space is definitely something that you lose when you buy a sports car. You just can't put anything in those
But
things.
it's not about that, you know?
That's true. But if you're going to buy one that needs to be all around, then yeah, the Cayenne S is a good pick.
GTS is fantastic.
This roof rack is interesting. This is very Porsche. If you go for the roof rack, you get Porsche branded jerry cans, Porsche branded water bottles, folding shovels, and even traction boards, which are like snowshoes type things that you can stick under your tires
like
if you lose
plastic
grip.
kind of boards that
Yeah.
will get you out of a sticky situation.
But all of your stuff has Porsche logos on it,
and I
so
bet
that you
they
can
charge
have.
you for the privilege.
Oh, they do. If you get the roof rack and the rally livery, it's an extra 20 grand.
Does that come with the whole package with your jerry cans or your shovels?
I don't know. The rally design pack is the livery. I don't know. This
Gosh.
doesn't say how much the roof rack is. But
$1,000.
do you know what this car starts at if you just want the base Dakar?
I don't know about the Dakar.
So a normal 911 Carrera 4 GTS is about 120
That
grand.
sounds right.
And this is in euros, this website. So I'm saying grand or euros. It's going to be more in the US.
Yes.
The Dakar base is 50 grand more than that. It's 173
Wow.
for the same car, basically, but with a rally.
True, you're getting the rally version.
But still, it's a big upgrade.
It's certainly an enthusiast car.
And the roof rack. I don't know if it's directly the roof rack, but there's something you can get that basically gives you a 12-volt power outlet. So if you want to camp with your 911 Dakar, if you're not the type of person
I think I would love that. I would
that
love to
drives
camp
a
in my
911 Dakar that also wants to camp and won't stay in a 5-star hotel,
Yes.
you know.
It's got big toe points on this car. It's a good looking vehicle.
Well, if you're going to take it rallying, they got to pull you out of ditches.
Well, you're in a Porsche, so you'll win the rally.
Wow.
It's a really interesting car. Did they say how many of them they're going to make?
It doesn't. The article didn't say.
Okay. I'm certain this will be a limited run.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, not a standard thing.
No. But it's just a normal 911 on the inside. Which, there's nothing normal about the 911. It's exceptional on the inside. The new interior is amazing.
But nothing radically different.
I would feel some kind of way about putting my dirty, sandy behind in
Yeah.
my beautiful 911.
Yeah.
And touching it while I'm dirty
Off-roading and a
off-roading.
nice luxury Porsche interior are kind of antithesis.
You know how much crap would get in my Alcantara? That's just not. And you only have one cup holder.
Oh,
I know there's one that folds out from the passenger side, but like,
who counts
there's
that
one
one?
central cup holder, and that's it.
If you're gonna camp, you need more cup holders.
And it's got the nubby shifter that has become quite divisive in the Porsche community.
Oh, really?
It's a little nub because, as we know, Porsche's in the Volkswagen group.
Yeah.
And so Volkswagen, Audi, Porsche, Lamborghini, everyone's switching to little nubby shifters
Weird.
for the automatic transmissions.
Do you have to put? You don't have to go through the gears.
No.
You just put it in a drive.
Yep. And there's sport mode and manual mode where you can do paddle shifting.
Right.
But to shift it again, you reach to your center console and push up or pull down for reverse and forward. And that's it. Just a little push up the nub. That is very strange. But it's got like the racing bucket seats in the car. Because it's a rally car. It's a racing car.
Yeah.
I would cover them in plastic or something.
Yeah.
But the people that are actually going to buy this, I have a bad feeling it's not going to see any rally.
No. It might see a dirt track, maybe.
Maybe. For 173,000 euros, not seeing much.
Not seeing
Seeing
much.
a garage.
Yeah. It's seen a collection.
Beautiful car. It's a collector's car.
Yeah. I think that's my verdict, too.
Yeah. I think that concludes this Porsche
Oh,
segment.
yeah. That was a good car topic section.
More to come.
Yeah.
And just like that, I believe our conversation has run its course.
Yeah, I think our topics have dried up a little bit. Well, thank you for listening, dear listener. I've been Logan.
And I've been Hunter.
And thank you for joining us on an Impromptu podcast.